There's a very specific reason that we use this many-to-many field through an intermediary model, and that is everything to do with this variation. And of course the cart as well, but this variation, or being able to associate these two with this quantity, is really, really important. So let's go ahead and take a look at why it's so important in the shell. If I do python manage.py shell, we're going to do a few things here. I'm going to clear out the list here a little bit. And I'm first off going to import from products.models, import variation. And then from carts.models, import cart and cart item. So variation, this is obviously if we did variation.objects.all, we would see all the different variations. I'm going to set a instance to just whatever var that I want. So I'll call it variation equals to variation.objects.all, and I'll get the first one. So variation is, spelling it correctly, variation is an instance of this variation model. And then cart, if we did cart.objects.all, we should see at least one cart. If you don't see a cart in here, you can create a new cart very easily. I'll say new cart equals to cart, and I can just use these parentheses and then just do new cart.save, and that'll actually create a new cart for us. So if I do new cart.id, we get this ID of 2. So we have a variation, those are known, those aren't going to change, but the cart objects will. So this right here will change from time to time. So now that we have a cart, so new cart, and a variation, those are the combination of things that we want to add products, right? All we really need is a quantity. So let's set that equal to 10. So we have a product that we want to add, a quantity that we want to add, and we have a cart. So to actually make this cart work better, like meaning our cart actually has items, so if we did new cart.items, we're going to see a related manager. So of course it's a many-to-many field, so if we did .items.all, we see that, oh, there's nothing in here. So how do we actually add stuff in here? Now we do it using the through model, so that is the cart item. So since we have the cart item itself, so objects.get or create, I'll explain what this is all about in just a second, but since we have this cart item, it's associated to the cart item, right? So the cart is associated to the cart item, so if I create a new cart item with the cart and variation, or the item that I want to associate, it will automatically do that. So if I did get or create, and I'll say cart equals to our new cart here, and then we'll say item, because again, we put it in as item, we're going to set that equal to our variation. And if I hit enter, it does create it. It says cart item, 16 gigabytes, and true. It actually did create it. So now I'm going to say new item is equal to these things. So I'm going to copy this whole thing right here, paste that in. And if I hit enter, I'll see new item. And what this is doing is it's showing me the instance and whether or not it's created, because we have a get or create call here. So instead I'll set the new item equal to that first item, which is the instance itself. So now the new item is the instance. So if I did new item.quantity, it'll say 1, because our default is 1. So no matter what, it's going to add 1 in there. So if we wanted to add a new quantity, I could say new item quantity equals to 10. Or actually the quantity that we set up there, which was quantity. And I'll do new item.save. All right, so I haven't touched the cart at all, as we see here. So now if I do new cart.items.all, press enter, I now have these variations in here. Wow, so easy. I didn't have to do anything with the many-to-many field. I didn't have to add anything into it. It automatically does it based off of that through relation. So this is the same way of adding instances any other time. So this get or create call is important, because what if we wanted to remove that new item from our cart? We would say new item.delete. And now we do new cart.items.all, nothing. Whew. Wow, it's so easy. It's actually really, really easy to do, especially once we start to implement it. But I wanted to show you how it's done in a shell so you can see how it's done later. Now, something else, if you are familiar with many-to-many fields without the through, you might know that many-to-many fields, you could do new cart.items.add, and then you could add something. So let's as soon as I try to do .add, it's going to give me this attribute error. Cannot use add on a many-to-many field, which specifies an intermediary model. Use the cart items manager instead. And that error is saying, do this, like create a model that's associated to the cart and the item that is being used. Do that instead. So can't use .add, that method. You cannot use it on many-to-manys that are set up through using that intermediary model. Perfect. So if you have any questions on this, let us know. But really, what you're gonna want to do here is practice through the shell and then work through it with us in the next one, where we actually implement it into our front end, so the user can actually add items to a cart and stuff like that. So if you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, let's keep going.